Hi everybody, By Invitation by Michael Buble. This is like my sixth take on this because my phone is acting up, so I'm tired of doing it. I'm just going to run through it as quickly as possible. I do not have the notes in front of me, but I will list them below as usual. I don't want to move stuff around too much because for some reason I think that's making my phone freeze. But there is the box, and as you can see, I got it at Burlington for $7.99. There's the bottom. This is very cheaply made. Be very careful with it. I do want you to hear that. Somebody else said that this part broke off before they even got theirs out of the box. This cap is very sticky. Be careful you don't break this when you're taking it on and off. Yes, it looks like I have man hands because of the way I'm reaching around my phone. It's like that episode of Seinfeld where that lady is like eating the lobster with her big hands. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just don't have them in real life. It's the way it looks. Anyhow, you hear how cheap that is. So it sprays nicely. I just don't want to spray it again for this additional take on this video. The spray on it's fine. Just be careful. This is difficult to get back on so you don't break it. You hear that? So this caught my attention because so many people say it smells like Marc Jacobs Decadence. I cannot remember if I've ever received a sample of Decadence. If I have, I don't remember, but I do know that I was watching a Curly Sense video, and as I recall, the two guys on there did not like it. I have heard and read that Marc Jacobs Decadence is divisive and that people either, are fans or they absolutely can't stand it. And I can see how this could be a divisive fragrance. So upon my first spraying it, initially it smelled really good. I was like, what does that smell like that is so sexy? And it occurred to me that to me it is reminiscent of the 1985 powerhouse beast sexy Fendi. Now when I say reminiscent, that's all I mean. It could never touch Fendi, but it had that. As I recall, this has strawberry and red fruits as part of the top notes, and it also has sandalwood. Well, that red fruit and wood, to me, I think that's what it is combined that gave me that recollection of exquisite Fendi. This would never be Fendi, but that's what I liked about the opening for this. But then this little number, she changes quickly. This then goes into a somewhat powdery, very vanilla ambery wood type smell. And all you gourmand people are saying, ooh, I like that. That sounds good. Yeah, it does sound good, but it doesn't stay that way. On me, ultimately, what ends up happening, again, I'm trying to rush through this and make it this quick because I've done it so many times. I don't want to get cut off again. Ultimately, what ends up happening is that top bergamot, which is in the top note, that sharp bergamot citrusy resurfaces after that stage of powdery vanilla ambery. That bergamot pops back up, y'all, and it joins forces with the musk and the wood in the base. You may be thinking that sounds good, but I want you to think about it. Some powder with some sharp citrus and wood. What you end up getting, or what I ended up getting ultimately before it fades out, is like a kind of powdery, sweet, woody citronella candle, y'all. That's what I think of, like straight up citronella candle, borderline straight up bug spray. And but something about it made me want to keep smelling it even at that stage because I think it was nostalgic. And at first I thought to myself, what old school fragrance dries down with that citronella candle bug spray smell? And I was trying to think, was it Nina Ricci L'air de Temps? Because I had that a long time ago, back when I was like 17 or 18, only because I loved the bottle. And I have not smelled it since then, and I'm 45. But, so it's been a long time since I smelled that. But I mainly had it because it was such a pretty bottle. But then now that I think about it, I don't think that's what it was. I think what it was another bottle that had that frosted glass. And if you're familiar, I don't have the picture with me, but I think it was Kenzo Perfume. I don't know how to say the Dete, like D''Ete, forgive my ignorance on that. But that bottle was beautiful too. It was like the size of this box right here. I don't want to move around too much and freeze my camera, but it was like a frosted glass leaf. The whole thing was a leaf looking. It looked like a leaf. And I think it may have been that one. I could be wrong though, you guys, but I think it could have been that one that dried down to that citronella bug spray smell. So reading through Fragrantica again and other sites, I can see some people really like this. Now, one thing I have to disagree on is that a lot of people say that this is some kind of like beast of a cheapie with its longevity. I totally disagree. I think this mostly lasts about maybe 3 to 4 hours. It becomes a skin scent. Well, I mean, it stays as a skin scent pretty good. But the thing about this is it is no kind of beast with the longevity. I would say like 3 or 4 hours. But the thing about it is it doesn't really, when you first spray it, it seems loud. Like it seems like it's going to project. Like if you're into this, if you like this fragrance, you feel like it's going to be blasting and people are going to smell you. Like I liked that initial burst. And that initial burst does kind of like stick in your nose when you first smell it. But that goes away fairly quickly. And then you do have that temporary powdery ambery vanilla. That too, though, as it fades into the powdery, like the woody, sweet citronella candle, that's when it really starts to settle. And it doesn't project. It really doesn't. I mean, unless you're just sitting there just spraying it, you know, right at people. If you spray it on yourself and you just like go out the door and go somewhere, you're not gonna, it doesn't have any sillage, it doesn't have any trail. And that's disappointing. Even though I don't like the dry down, except for my weird fascination and kind of the nostalgia of the dry down. If I spray it on, I want it to like, I want people to smell it. I want to leave a trail to see what people think about it. Like I walked into the grocery store after spraying this outside of Burlington. I mean, I got in my car, you know how you do, you open the box and spray it all over. Well, I tested it on a receipt. And then I sprayed it on myself before going to the grocery store. I'm thinking I'm going to look at the looks on people's faces to see if they cringe or notice or what. But like nobody, it didn't stand out to anybody apparently. I mean, and yes, I know people would try to hide it if it was loud and sticky, but it really just didn't faze anybody. And then I was like smelling my clothes and it's just disappointing in the way that it doesn't project or leave any kind of trail, regardless of whether you like the smell or not. I mean, it's just $8. I don't even really, it's not ugly, but it's clearly very cheap. I guess she very cheaply made. I think that sums up everything I have to say about it. In fairness, that's my experience. I bought this last night, but I did spray a good bit last night. And in taking these several videos, I've sprayed it a good bit now. And then my daughter has smelled me when I got home, and she was on the phone, so I could barely get her attention. And she's like, no, it doesn't stink, it's fine. She went about her business. But then today when I sprayed it on her arm, it didn't take long for her to say, yeah, I do get like a citronella bug spray smell. She was like, oh, yeah. So I am thinking it's that Kenzo and that pretty frosted leaf bottle. Like I said, it's the bottle that came out in the 90s where the whole thing looks like a leaf. It's a very pretty bottle. I am thinking that's the one that has a similar dry down. I could be wrong. But, oh man, if it would just stay like that initial burst, that is almost a whisper of Fendi, which would be a sexy nighttime fragrance, that would be great. Or if it would even stay with the powder vanilla ambery, that would be great. Or if it even had projection and a trail, even though it's an awkward citrusy, woody bug spray smell, it would be better than not, but I don't know. This does have fans. When you look at people reviewing it, there are people who really like it. And I could see how some people would like it. And of course, chemistry, because I have smelled some fragrances on people that to me does smell like bug spray. And they really, really love it on themselves, which is great. That's what's important that they do. Or it doesn't quite take that turn on their skin as much as it. I don't know, you guys, though. My daughter, I could test anything on her, and even she agreed. She was like, ooh. At first she was like, oh, and then ooh. You get the idea. So you could comment if you have tried this and you think it smells like Marc Jacobs. Again, many people say that it does. Some people go against that, but in most of the comments I see say that it does smell like the Decadence. Look, it looks pretty when light's shining on it, but even when that light hits it, you can see how cheap that is. It's like little cheap plastic and fragile. It's not just that it's cheap, it's that it's so daggone fragile too and like easily breakable. So, it's Friday night. I need to go get some dinner somewhere. Please like and subscribe and comment. I appreciate it, and y'all take care.